All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream.
If you don't like the taste, if you are full of it, if you like the taste of the leaves, just fine. I wipe them all over.
You are hearing my son trying to eat in the background, so I do apologize.
My son is refusing to eat the meat, even though I'm wiping the lettuce leaves all over the pork and shoving it in his mouth, and he likes it, but he won't eat the pork.
It's kids, man. We are you kids? So this is my only day off I have until May 21st. So tomorrow I'll be slightly stressed, slightly tired. All that fun shit. So, yay, fun times. So I'd like to welcome you all to the stream. What is on my screen here? Something got on my screen. That's really annoying. One of my kids put something on my screen.
Are you done?
That's... okay, I got it fixed, I think.
Eat your meat. No meat, no watermelon.
Alright. Showing love from the village. Thank you.
You're not getting any.
Sharpen. Okay, I'm gonna fuck this up. I am so sorry.
You want watermelon? You gotta eat meat.
Sharpen XO. Welcome. Welcome.
Shrapnel XL.
Shrapnel XO. Okay. Welcome. So quick announcements before we get started. Announcement number one, our sponsor for Foreseeable Future, Shockbite Gaming Servers.
Knock it off.
Link is down below. The servers start at $2.50 a month, and now they do Starbound. So hurrah for that. Other announcement, we have artists that could always use your help. If you want to help them out, here's the links. So please help them out. That is always welcome. And our partner in crime for today is CandidGamera.
Hello.
All right. Yeah, by the way, Shockbite, by the way, just added Starbound to their server list.
Neat.
So whenever we're done with Minecraft, we could switch it over to, say, Starbound and run a Starbound server and just do that.
That could be cool. It's been a while since I've tried out Starbound. I remember enjoying it pretty well.
Yeah, so that could be definitely something we can do, and I think that could be fun. I've played Starbound a little. I will say that.
I think when I played it, it was still early days for it, so I've played like the first planet where you beat a couple of bosses to restore your technology, and then you can go to other planets, and then didn't really play it too much longer than that.
I think I got to the second planet, or like I got to the main story where there's like an ancient race or some shit like that, or
yeah.
I don't remember much. It's been so long.
Leave it alone and eat your food.
And I also remember there were a bunch of like really drugged out races. Like some of them were like, I looked at them like, really? Like the one that really stood out to me as like, this is weird as hell, was the plant race. Because I was like, okay, the plant race seems cool, so what? They don't need to eat like any food, they can just subsist off the sunlight, but the downside is like, you have to be out in the day a lot or something. No, you have to eat meat. You have to eat a lot of meat. They can't eat plants. And I'm like, the fuck?
Seems weird, but I'll allow it.
Like, do you remember the old show Sequest?
Yes.
There was an episode where, like, the plants would eat people.
Uh-huh.
And that's what it reminded me of. I was just like, are we back in that Sequest episode where the plants are eating people and turning them into fertilizer?
Danny!
Is that what's going on here?
Knock it off and eat your food.
It's like, the fuck is going on? I don't know, man. This is the weirdest shit ever. Fuck this.
Eat now.
I'm gonna have to turn up my volume just a hair, because my volume is low. Gotta modify this just a hair as well. Alright, hopefully that works out a little better.
Alrighty.
Because I'm coming in really low on my microphone. I wonder why. Snowball. Yeah, it's the right microphone, so let's try turning that off. Okay. Yep. Okay. For some reason, like, my volume was just
Chew and swallow
acting
and
weird.
go to bed.
Yeah.
You're not, unless you finish your meat, you're not getting watermelon.
Yeah, buddy. You're not getting food.
You're not getting treats if you don't eat what you're supposed to eat.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Chew and swallow what's in your mouth before you shove more in your mouth. Swallow what's in your mouth first.
So fun times in D&D land. I was perusing D&D, mixture of D&D TikTok as well as D&D Twitter and stuff like that. And one of the discussions that came up was the popular movie Encanto, and they were discussing all the characters. And they were trying to figure out the main family in Encanto.
Mm-hmm.
What are they in D&D? That was kind of the thing. They were trying to figure it out.
Sure.
And so there is that. So let me see if I
mean, that's a classic pastime. You know, we always want to look at our favorite pop culture characters and say, well, what in Dungeons and Dragons, what would Batman be?
Yeah, kind of. So I'm trying to remember all their names, so please forgive me if I screwed this up.
Grandma, abuela.
Yeah. Just give me a second. I'm trying to remember the family members, and that's the problem. It's always trying to remember all their damn names because I'm really bad with names.
And there's also a lot of them.
And there's a lot of them.
Don't touch.
All right.
Chew what's in your mouth, swallow, and...
All right, so there's the main character of the movie, which is Mirabelle.
Okay.
All right, which I'll pull up her picture if it lets me. Yep, there it is. There's Mirabelle. I'm not sure you can see the stream too well.
I can see, yeah.
All right. But is that a good enough picture, or do you want me to send you the picture?
No, I got it.
All right. So this is Mirabelle. Mirabelle got no powers.
Right.
She's the main character.
But she is hyper intelligent, and she's hyper observant. Like she notices shit before anyone else does. She's also really dexterous. She's able to dodge things.
Mm-hmm.
And this also applies with traps. So
okay.
I'm going to apply this in both 5th Ed and Pathfinder because we have people who do both.
Stop.
And I forgot to hit the start recording button on my computer, so I'll just have to grab it from Twitch later. Never mind. Damn. I keep forgetting to do that. So it makes my editing easier later.
Right.
Fuck. All right. So in 5th Ed, I would make her a rogue.
Seems reasonable.
Seems reasonable. The problem is I don't know rogues very well in 5th Ed. So there's a rogue subclasses 5e. Let me see what the rogue subclasses are. Let's see. We got Arcane Trickster. Doesn't work because she doesn't have spells. She's not an assassin. She's not killing people.
No.
No.
Do that with your plate. Chew and swallow what's in your
She
mouth.
could be an Inquisitive. Inquisitive.
Oh.
That they're good at insight and perception. And let's be brutally honest.
Those are Inquisitors. Or Investigators.
Investigators. Wrong class. I feel like that's probably her best option.
Mm-hmm.
She's not talking with dead people. So she's not a phantom. She's not a mastermind. She's not great at social interactions. She's not good at survival. She's not a scout. She's not a psionic, so she's not a soul knife. She's sure as shit not a swashbuckler. So I'd say either a thief or an inquisitive.
I wouldn't say thief because she doesn't.
I mean, if you said she's unusually perceptive, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know the character that well,
Right.
but an inquisitive does sound like a pretty good match.
Right. She doesn't have any special abilities of being perceptive, and her main shtick for the movie is she brings everybody together by noticing what is wrong with them and helping them overcome their issues.
Okay.
But she doesn't do so necessarily with, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think of a good word because my brain is not doing well. I need to increase the levels on this. Let's try to increase this to 90. How's that? Okay. Hit that. Is that better? Oh, no, that's too loud.
Swallow.
That is way too loud. Let's drop that to 85. How's
You
that?
say she's bringing people together.
Yeah. But the
but
problem,
not by what?
but the problem is she's not good at talking initially. Like
Okay.
she figures out what their issue is and helps them work through the issue.
Right.
So that's why I said, if I'm going to say anything, I feel like inquisitive is probably it.
Well, I mean, here's an alternate idea. You could kind of fudge the magic aspects a bit. She also sounds a little bit like a bard.
Yeah, she does sound like a bard. She's a little bit like a bard. But now here's where I say in Pathfinder, hear me out. In Pathfinder, she's an investigator.
Sure.
Like straight up, no doubt, she's an investigator. She has all the investigative talents and abilities, and she fits that role. That's why I was like, bard or inquisitive or bard could fit in 5th ed, and that's and that's Mirabelle.
And Pathfinder has so many more specific classes that it's really easy to find things for.
All right. Then we have Alma.
Abuela.
Abuela, or yeah, she's the abuela. Now the house is alive. All right, I will say that the house is a magical item, though. I'd say it's an intelligent magical item, like it's itself.
The house is its own character.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I think there are rules in D&D for like living locations, and they count as like intelligent items.
I know Pathfinder had the genus loci.
Chew and swallow
So-
now.
Not sure about 5th ed, but I'm sure they've got something.
Yeah, they have to have something. And the house is alive, but it doesn't talk. It moves and has personality. All right? And Mirabella has the most connection with the house.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is the best way to describe it. So there is that. Abuela is also someone in the house that has no magic of her own.
But her husband is what we think the house was.
And we think the soul of her husband is the house.
Okay.
Because the way the story goes is her and her husband were escaping basically conflict in their home country, and they make it out to be it's a South American country, starts with a C. God, I just had it in my head. Colombia. Thank
Colombia.
you. Yes. You both just said Colombia at the same time. And so they're both in Colombia. They're leaving. They're fleeing the conflict, and they're being chased by soldiers. She's got 3 kids. She had triplets.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to protect his family, he turned and tried to stop the soldiers with no weapons. And they kill his ass.
And then mountains come up.
And then suddenly, a candle she was holding gets all kinds of weird markings on it. And then the mountains rise between her and the soldiers and all the refugees that were with them and everything.
And there's a house.
And all that jazz. And suddenly there's a new house. The town is suddenly, like, builds itself. All that jazz. So, that's kind of the background. She is obsessed with maintaining the family's powers. Because her children get powers. And her children's children get powers. Expert26, what's good from man from the village? Oh, we're discussing D&D characters and what classes they fit into from like movies and stuff. We're just having a grand old time, my friend. Welcome. So she has no abilities. For her, I feel like she is an NPC class.
Yeah.
And I would say aristocrat. Because that's both in Pathfinder and 5th ed.
Sure.
She has a lot of the social skills. She has a lot of the behaviors of an aristocrat. While she wasn't born into nobility, she helps run the town. And the town looks to her for guidance constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's probably the best class for that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. She might have had a few levels of commoner starting out. And then, like, switch to aristocrat.
Chew and swallow.
So, nothing too crazy there. The first couple were going to be the ones. This guy is the one where there was so many arguments over. Bruno. God damn, so many people argue about this guy.
I thought you weren't supposed to talk about Bruno.
Yeah, we're not supposed to talk about Bruno. Alright. So Bruno's special ability... Bruno's special ability is he can see the future.
Okay.
Right? But he sees the future much like a divination caster would. It comes in weird riddles, it comes in glimpses, it's not set in stone.
Sure.
Alright? He is very socially awkward. His charisma score is bad.
He's like a 7.
Like, he has definitely got a negative charisma score. Easily. Alright? But he's a good person. He tries to help people. He tries to be, you know, all that jazz. And he is somewhat intelligent at times, but he definitely lacks in some brain power sometimes.
Okay.
Like, he does make a lot of stupid choices. Now, a lot of people say he is in 5th Ed, a divination wizard.
Okay.
That is the argument. And in Pathfinder, they make the same argument. He's a divination wizard. I would disagree.
I would too.
And the reason behind this is that such. All right, Bruno, if I could, Bruno Madrigal. Madrigal has some friends. And
a lot of friends.
A lot of friends. And if I could find a picture of him and his friends, that would be helpful. Oh, well, there's a cartoon picture of them, but that works. All right. He has rats.
Okay.
And it isn't one rat. He has many rats. So if, like, in the movie, like, a lot of pictures, people see him always with one rat. And so they're like, oh, he's a wizard, and the rat is his familiar.
He's got an entire fucking colony.
He's got a whole colony of rats that follow around and do his bidding. This does not say wizard to me. Alright? This tells me that I would say he is a cleric. Alright?
Yeah.
And he has the animal domain.
Okay.
So he gets all those little rat familiars. Because all clerics get divination magic.
Yep.
And he's got a decent amount of wisdom. He is pretty perceptive about what's going on around him. He just doesn't know how to relay that information to others. He's not good at talking to other people.
Sure.
And there's nothing in the rulebook that says clerics must have a good charisma.
True.
And so that's the argument I make anyway.
I mean, yeah, I would say cleric in 5th edition is probably your best fit.
And I would kind of argue the same for Pathfinder, maybe.
I would say, despite the charisma deficit, Oracle or Pathfinder.
Oracle's a good choice too. I can see Oracle.
Yeah, Oracles, you know, can have all these weird little curses and things on them.
None of that better hit the floor. I'm gonna be really mad.
Actually, here's the thing. He could still have a good charisma, but have a curse where he can't talk well.
Yes.
That is a thing with Oracle. You can have that curse.
You were completely and utterly socially inept.
Yeah.
Danny, eat.
That is possible. I didn't think about that. That is a good option.
I really like the Oracle class, so it's one of the ones that just came to mind for me.
I want to play that now. I want to play an Oracle that can't talk and has like little rat things following him around. That seems like it'd be a fun thing. Felix. Stop that. Those are my ribs. Okay, so Felix is one of the husbands, alright? He married one of the daughters who has powers.
He is not Mirabel's dad.
He is not Mirabel's dad, alright? He has no powers. But one of his sons has powers that can shape change. He can turn into anything, okay?
Okay.
He has the ability
to always recognize
his son, no matter what form his son is in.
No matter what amount of bullshit his son pulls.
Because his son can look like anybody in the town.
Right.
He can recognize his son.
Gotcha.
Which makes me think he's a rogue.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe he
rogue
can
is
calm down
one of the
his
more
batshit
perceptive
crazy
classes.
wife and
Yeah.
wrangle his children.
Or no, wait, correction. Not rogue. Better. I have a better one. Bard. Because he also dances and sings like no man's business, and he keeps his wife calm.
There you go.
And a bard can do that better than anyone else. Whether they have used magic or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say he's a bard.
That would track, yes.
He that's his shtick. He's a bard.
You don't eat your meat, you get no
So that's
watermelon.
Felix. Luis. I'm kind of doing them in the order they have here. It's not necessarily in the order that they give. Oh, this is one that everybody kind of agreed on.
Yes.
This is Louisa.
Big beefy girl.
Her special. She's one of the children, so she's like
She's a
the
granddaughter.
second generation. All right. So she's Mirabelle's older sister. All right.
Gotcha.
She's a twin. All right.
Okay.
I thought her and the other sister were twins. No, wait, yeah, she's younger sister of Isabella, but older sister of Mirabelle. So she's the middle child. Okay, I'm bad. My bad.
This is a lot of the quintessential middle child problems.
All right. Her ability is super strength.
Classic.
Pick up anything.
All right. She also has the personality traits that she will take on any burden. She will do any physical labor that is given to her. She will not say no. Even though it is overwhelming her and she is having issues, she cannot handle it. Like, she is losing it slowly, like mentally, but physically she is like beef. Like, she can pick up whole buildings and move them.
Yeah.
Everybody pretty much online agrees with this. She's a barbarian.
I mean, that is the most obvious pick.
She's also not good at communicating her issues and needs.
Right.
And I feel like barbarian does that too.
What I will say is there's two ways to build a character based on, stuff from outside role-playing games. And one is to look mainly at the abilities, and the other is to look mainly at their role and their personality and say, if this person had come up in a D&D environment, what would they be? And it's a little less focused on the abilities. The accept any burden thing might suggest to me as a possible alternate a paladin.
Paladin could work. I could see that. Like a very strong paladin.
Yes.
I could see that. Especially in Pathfinder, if she was like a paladin of, like, say, Gorham or something. Oh, not chaotic. She's lawful. But some sort of very strong paladin.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I'll give you paladin. That one could be.
Yeah, paladin or barbarian, either one works.
Eat.
But definitely her alignment
Mommy,
is...
You don't get this until you finish your food.
her alignment is definitely along the lines, in my opinion, of the lawful side. Blade says, sounds more like Paladin, lives by her oath and sacrifice for others. Blade agrees with you on that one, Gamera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, you could go either way. You can do it based on the abilities or based on just what the character's, feel is.
Yeah, yeah.
He's slowly chucking it down.
Oh, yeah. Julieta. All right, so her abilities, and you can see she's holding a little
Mirabelle's
plate.
mother.
This is Mirabelle's mother. She's holding a little plate of food. Her special ability is any food she cooks, when she feeds it to someone, it heals their ailments.
Alchemist. Alchemist or cleric.
Yeah, alchemist or cleric.
Sure.
I could see that. And she's very loving, very giving. It just very much screams healing character. And her character is not very developed, other than she protects her family and she heals people.
Yeah.
There's not
She's
much.
a loving mother figure. That's about it.
She's a loving mother figure. This character, okay, you remember the character we told you that was a bard? That was, like, really good at calming his wife and stuff?
This is Peppa.
This is his wife, Peppa. Her emotions are tied to the weather. So when she gets upset, It storms.
I
Badly.
see.
So when she's happy, the weather is nice.
Right.
I could see Druid.
I mean, it's hard to
I could
argue
also
against
see
Druid.
cursed.
Yeah, it's really hard to argue against Druid. But I could also see in Pathfinder Storm Bloodline Sorcerer.
Sure.
Like, whatever weather ability you have has to be inborn. Because she cannot control it very well. And I feel like those two ones fit it too well. So that's Peppa. Isabella, this is the other one that...
This is the pretty chick that Disney thought everybody was gonna love, and everybody wanted Louisa.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about this movie. Everybody loved the strong woman, and Disney thought everybody would love this one. Go figure.
Stereotypical pretty girl.
Her special ability is she can make plants grow and flowers and shit.
Druid.
Druid. It's like, not beat around the bush. She's a druid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to hang on this one too much. It's druid in both 5th Ed and Pathfinder. It's really hard to argue against that. So there's that. Who's Augustine? Oh.
This is her dad.
This is Mirabelle, Isabella's, and Lisa's dad. No powers. He does a lot of yard work and stuff like that. And he's very protective of the family.
He's kind of stupid, though.
He's not that bright. He gets stung a lot by bees, and he's allergic to bees.
But he continues to handle them.
But he continues to handle it anyway. I give him fighter.
I mean, honestly, yeah, that's probably pretty solid.
Because he'll come in swollen up and say, it's just a bee sting.
It's just a bee sting. He's just like, it's just a bee sting. And everybody's like, your face.
And his face is the size of his thigh.
Like, give me a second. Let me see if I could find an example of his face when it's all blown up. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
You could probably also, make the case for like a dumb ranger or a dumb barbarian potentially.
Yeah. Let's see.
You just type in his
Oh, here we go.
sting.
There we go.
See his hands.
Give me a second. Let's see if I can pull up the image and tap. There we go. You
notice the swelling?
He knows all the swelling in his hands, his nose, his ear.
Oh Lord.
And he's still going, I'm fine. Throw me.
Yeah. That's why I said dumb ranger or paladin or fighter. There's him chopping the wood, and every time he just keeps getting bees.
He pisses off the bees.
Just angers the bees. Without fail.
Outstanding.
I don't. All right.
Camilo.
This is Camilo. This is the shape changer. He's very trickstery. He plays pranks on everyone, and he changes shape constantly to look like everyone else. But he also uses that to help people. Like, one woman was trying to, needed her break, so he turned into her and held her baby.
Uh-huh.
So she could get a nap.
So she can get a nap.
He's a trickster with a code of ethics.
So I would say rogue.
Eat your food.
I mean, yeah, if you're not too focused on the shape changing per se, he does strike me as a very roguish type character.
Well, here's the reason why. Arcane trickster.
Mm-hmm.
You can argue his shape-changing ability is illusion magic.
Like alter self?
Like alter self, essentially, yeah. And that is easily explainable.
Sure.
Simple, easy, done. So, not anything crazy there. Antonio is... got the ability to talk with Oh, Jesus Christ. Why is it so zoomed in?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's good. There he goes. Antonio...
He's the youngest.
He's the youngest. He just got his powers. He can speak with animals.
At will.
At will.
Okay, so you're thinking druid or ranger?
I'm thinking ranger, because the sheer amount of animals he gets. It's not just one animal companion. He gets, like, the whole slew of them. So in 5th Ed,
I would... talk to Am.
In 5th Ed, I would say Beastmaster Ranger. And then in Pathfinder, there's, like, archetypes for all about getting like a shit ton of animals instead of one. I think it's like Beast Lord or something.
Sure.
So there's that.
But he's kind of Mirabelle's pseudo companion.
Yeah, Dolores. Okay, Dolores.
That's one of I think that's Peppa's oldest.
Yeah, I think this is Peppa's oldest. Her ability is she can hear everything. Like super hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking Monk.
Okay.
Because they do have like crazy hearing. She also has crazy dodging abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like her hearing helps her not be surprised by anything sneaking up on her. Yeah.
Yeah. She dodges really well, and she's also very acrobatic in the movie.
Okay.
So there is that. So that was my argument. Mariano, do we need to go through the? Oh no, he's just some idiot.
He's the one that's interested in marrying into the family.
I think that's everybody in the family. Yep. Alright, so that's the Encanto family.
Alert is a feat, though.
Yeah, alert is a feat. Oh my god. Christ. Alert. Yeah, alert is a feat, though. Yes. And she would have it.
She is also the biggest blabbermouth.
Oh, yeah.
Dolores cannot keep her mouth shut.
Yep, ever. Oh, okay. Fun. Let's see. Who else can we bring up for D&D characters? That could be fun. You got
the classic examples that I usually see people talking about would be like superhero types.
Oh, we could do that. Let's see. Well, we could go with DC because we both know DC decently.
Sure.
Superman's a paladin, hands down.
Superman definitely has that paladin vibe. Yes.
Like I can't see him as anything but a paladin. It's so hard not to. Batman's a tricky one. I always want to give him a mixture of monk and rogue. In 5e.
It depends on, I think, if you're going by what he would be, in the game as a personality or trying to replicate his abilities. I will tell you, though, that I built a Batman-inspired character for a friend's game years ago, and what I ended up with was Ranger and Rogue. And
Ranger?
A tiny splash of wizard, because if Batman were in a context that magic was common, I feel like he would probably, study that at least a bit the way he studies sciences in the DC universe. But yes, Ranger and Rogue, because Ranger favored enemy bonus, where he's prepared for these kinds of enemies that he's studied.
I've eaten an entire piece of watermelon and an entire piece of cake, and he still hasn't finished the 4 pieces of meat he had.
Yeah, I noticed. There's already a ton of magic in DC, though. This is true.
Not as much as you think. DC is, there are magic characters, absolutely.
It could be an artificer.
But when Batman wants to answer a magic question, Batman does not know the answer already, so he has to call Zatanna. He has to call Constantine.
Who just got tired of being stepped on.
That's true. He does have to call Zatanna a lot.
Yeah, it's not like a D&D environment where magic is a fact of life, where you have a wizard in every town. Superhero universes tend to have magic at the fringes, and you'll have like a big sorcerer character or two. You'll have some supernatural characters, but they won't necessarily be a big part of like your core team books.
Yeah,
so
that is very true.
But yeah, definitely Ranger and Rogue is in the mix. Monk is more for the hand-to-hand fighting, but I don't feel like... I mean, there's so many hand-to-hand fighters, you can't just make them all monks. Because, most superheroes don't use deadly bladed weapons.
True, I mean, there's just the option of taking the improved unarmed strike feats.
Right, but I think even bothering to do that is a little bit of overkill. It's like, why do you even care?
Chew and swallow and chew with your mouth closed.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
Now, we talked about Superman. We talked about Batman.
Batman's hard to define. That's the hard one.
Yeah, I mean, he's so much of everything.
Green Lantern, I feel like, is...
In Pathfinder, I would go kineticist.
Yeah, kineticist. In 5e, though, I'd have to be... sorcerer?
Yeah, I feel like you could probably do a pretty good rendition with a sorcerer or a warlock, perhaps.
Warlock is not a bad option. There's plenty of locations I can give you that.
He's not that versatile outside of, like, the energy constructs.
Yeah.
So the warlock, lacking that similar versatility, might be a good fit.
Yeah, I could see that. Let's see. Wonder Woman's probably a fighter.
Yeah, you could definitely do a fighter, or you could even make her a barbarian pretty convincingly. Depends on who's writing her.
That's true, because some of her things are very barbarian-esque. Like the movie Wonder Woman, I would go fighter. Like the modern one.
Right.
But in Justice League, I would also go fighter as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, there have definitely been some versions of her that were very barbarian-esque.
She's another one that you could arguably make a case for monk, but,
yeah, but she uses weapons a lot.
She does, but monks have monk weapons.
True, but, like, she uses a wide variety of weapons.
These days, yes.
Yeah. Injustice One Woman was just about killing. Yeah, and that screams also... But, yeah, but you could do that with any character, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, Injustice characters are all about bad writing.
Yeah.
I know, I have a fresh original idea. What if Superman was evil?
That's kind of been done. What? Yeah. Just like, God damn it. Martian Manhunter, I feel like, has some levels of rogue in him.
Oh, now Martian Manhunter is probably the hardest member of the Justice League to really nail down.
Yeah, but I gotta say he has levels of rogue in him. He's too sneaky. He's got way too much perception in him. Like, he's got a lot of skill ranks.
He does.
And I feel like that screams rogue to me.
I would say that maybe I would go with Ranger instead of Rogue, just because you cover the favored enemy type bonuses,
but he doesn't focus on one enemy.
He does, though. I mean, his civilian identity is that of a police officer. He's a detective. And so he would get a lot of use out of those bonuses for favored enemy human.
Maybe. I don't know. But he also deals with a lot of alien stuff, too.
I mean, not as much as you might think, at least in the comics, but there are certain types of aliens that he does deal with, like white Martians. Again, there's your second favorite enemy.
Yeah.
What I don't see him typically doing are things like backstabs or sneak attacks. He's not really, going to be doing that unless the situation calls for him to approach a situation indirectly. Like, he fights them face to face, and then it's like, oh, I can't beat them this way. I'll phase through the wall and come back the other side.
I always, like, he heavily relied on shapeshifting in the JLA cartoon. That's true, but the reason why I argue Rogue is because he would sneak up to foes and disable foes.
I mean, anybody can have a stealth check that's pretty good.
Yeah,
if you
but
want to.
but him sneaking up and disabling foes was more effective than the other members tended to be.
Right, but he would do that via usually phasing his hand into them or a telepathic attack, which I don't necessarily associate with the kind of damage of like a backstab or a sneak attack. I would say that's more like a sleep spell or something like that. So something with a little bit of magic to it would probably be good. Like I said, he's a hard one to pin down because Martian Manhunter has more powers than any other character in the DC universe, just about.
Yeah.
He can turn invisible, he can phase through walls, he's telepathic, he can do anything Superman can do. He's got a shape-shifting ability. Uh, it's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the hard one. It's just like,
I mean, I think he's definitely got some levels of like sorcerer or something in the mix. He's
Yeah.
got some spells that he uses all the time.
Yeah. Flash is a monk.
Flash, yeah, that's probably going to be your best fit. Flash is difficult to contextualize in D&D because, to be honest, Flash is broken as hell.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of super speed is just hard to deal with, even in a superhero RPG system.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, I would agree that Monk's probably your best call there for Flash.
Yeah, yeah.
Who else we got? Aquaman?
Ranger?
Yeah, I would probably go Ranger. I would give him some race that gives him the ability to survive in and out of the water. And then just say he's a Ranger with an aquatic terrain specialty.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be probably your best bet.
I guess you theoretically could also go Barbarian. He is a little barbarian-y. If you use some of the Pathfinder feats that let you do like elemental type barbarian stuff, you could give him like water-based barbarian abilities. But
yeah,
Ranger would probably be my easy pick there.
Yeah, definitely. For villains for Lex, I want to give him Rogue. All those skill points, man.
Artificer.
Oh, Artificer too. Oh, Artificer's a good choice. Oh.
He's got so many gadgets. I would have to say that Artificer is the first thing that comes to mind for me for Lex. Now, it's sort of like Monk is for superheroes because so many of them rely on punches and kicks and dodging. Artificer is to supervillains because a lot of them are mad scientist type with crazy kooky gadgets. So you don't want to necessarily just make everybody an Artificer, but that's definitely.
But if it's their main shtick, if they just happen to have kooky gadgets, it's one thing. But if their main thing is they are so smart that they make things, and that is like Lex's thing. Like, remember the end of Justice League Unlimited? He pretty much looked at the thing as like, you need a 12th level intellect to get through this wall, and he's like, oh yeah, then I'm overqualified. It's like, shit, man.
Yeah, he's got a 12th level ego, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely saying something. Like, god damn, man. Joker, I would not give him Artificer.
No. His use of gadgets and weapons is more incidental.
Yeah.
You could say Alchemist for him because his Joker toxin is a recurring thing.
Yeah, Alchemist is good.
He would definitely have some roguish abilities though too. So
yeah, Alchemist definitely though. Alchemist, rogue, mix of the two.
Yeah.
His companion Harley, I would give her.
I'd say honestly, if you remove the alignment requirement, Monk, she or Pathfinder has the Brawler. She's an acrobat. She's a hand-to-hand combatant. Yeah.
Yeah, Brawler, 5th Ed Kensei.
Danny.
Definitely Kensei Monk. That would be fun for those two. Dark side. Oof.
Dark side transcends petty classes. Dark side is a demigod.
Demigod. If I were to give him any class, though, I'd say lawful evil paladin.
You could make him like a Death Knight type. He certainly could read that way. He is also just an absolute brick, a tank on legs. So you could argue various kinds of barbarian. I would think.
Yeah, but like with 5th Ed, you can build a paladin that is just an absolute castle of a person.
Sure.
Like, you can make them almost near, like, nigh invulnerable.
Okay.
Like, I built a paladin that was an Oathbreaker paladin, 15 levels of paladin, 5 levels of warlock. Dude did 154 damage average in a single hit.
Nice.
And had an AC in the 20s,
Mm-hmm.
and his HP was over 200.
Okay.
And all of his saves were just stupidly high.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do the same thing in Pathfinder.
Right.
You can just break things with that. So
Danny,
I
get your
don't
food.
see a problem with that. And that's a beautiful thing with this. You could, with both settings, you could do a lot of crazy stuff. Though I will say, out of the two gaming systems, I feel like you can do more with Pathfinder than you can with 5e.
Oh, absolutely. Going back to Batman for a second, Pathfinder introduced the Vigilante class in Ultimate Intrigue.
Yeah.
Just nails it.
Yeah, that would be Batman right there. Perfect. Boom. And one of these days I want to play Vigilante. It seems like fun, but I don't know how that would work in a party.
I mean, it is a weird one just because you've got the dual identities. And it doesn't necessarily make itself conducive to certain kinds of party play. The Vigilante very much wants to be in an area, like it wants to have a home turf, because a lot of its abilities are, based on the area it operates in.
Yeah.
But for NPCs, it's fantastic. And I actually, in my last Pathfinder game, used a vigilante as a bad guy. They kept hearing that one of the enforcers for the evil organization they were fighting against, he was called the Shrike, named after a particularly vicious kind of hunting bird that loves to eviscerate its prey.
I know what a shrike is. Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's horrifying.
he had a secret identity, but he was a masked vigilante, but in the sense that he was an enforcer for the bad guys. And so they had to try and find out who he was to try and curtail some of his activities. He was fun.
I imagine that'd be some classes are just better DM classes, and some classes are just better player classes.
Yeah. I mean, that said, if you're running a campaign that centers in and around like a particular city,
Vigilante is a good class.
but yeah. I highly recommend the Vigilante if you ever get a chance to play it.
Yeah.
Danny, finish it.
God, what was another class that I recommend that, like, it's a good DM class, but it's not a great PC class? I'm trying to remember. Because I had it in my head, and now it's gone. I hate when that happens.
Torpedoes to starboard. Torpedoes, direct front.
Sorry, I think I lost your audio for just a sec.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember a class that was a good DM class, but it was not a good player class, other than Vigilante.
Do you remember anything about it?
It was a spellcasting class. I remember that much.
Okay.
And it had a lot of environmental spells.
Okay.
Like it messed with the environment around the player.
Torpedoes, direct front.
Interesting. It's not ringing a bell, but
Yeah, I just can't remember it for the life of me. I was just like, I think it was a 3-5 class.
Are
okay.
you done?
I'll remember it one day. I know
Sure.
it. So there is that. But I know there are some feats and abilities though that are in certain D&Ds and Pathfinders that are heavily favored. Oh my god.
Mhm.
I know in 5th Ed, Great Weapon Master is extremely favored.
I've been looking over options for my 5e character, and I will say that the lucky feat seems incredibly good. Like, if you have a
Yeah.
feat slot and don't know what to take,
Take
it's
Lucky.
just a no-brainer. Yeah.
Yeah, Lucky's a good one. Another one that's commonly taken is Sentinel.
Yes, we have a polearm master in our group, and I'm trying to persuade her to take Sentinel.
Yeah, Sentinel is... I've seen that taken so many times. The problem is you can't have Sentinel hit the same target. Multiple Sentinels hit the same target.
Danny, knock it off.
It doesn't do anything.
Right.
Which sucks. So if you have multiple people with Sentinel and you only have one target, it's like, well,
Well, I mean, I think the purpose of Sentinel is mainly, crowd control, trying to like hold a pass or something like that. So you've got one person with a pole arm and fantastic reach. You can stop one person around from getting by. Having a second person with Sentinel would be just icing in case somebody else tried to get by.
Oh yeah, definitely. And if you have someone with polearm, Great Weapon Master is also a good one. Because that's a lot of extra damage.
Yeah.
I've seen that. For Hex Blades, I've seen Improved Pact Weapon taken a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because that adds so much versatility in weapons you can take.
Right.
And so that's craziness. Surprisingly, toughness was a popular feat in 5th Ed.
I mean, I can see it being more valuable in 5th Ed than in previous editions.
Yeah.
What do I have for my bard? So I made a list of feats that I'm interested in for my bard for the 5e game, and the first one that I ended up taking was Observant. Just because it fit the character concept. It's good, but just, yeah, have that passive perception and investigation bonus of +5, which is incredible. Gives you read lips, which is a little bit overlooked, but I think also pretty useful, and a +1 to intelligence or wisdom. So just, chef's kiss. It is absolutely perfect for my character concept and generally all around useful.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about 5e is the fact that you have to choose between a feat and a stat bonus.
Yeah, the game that I'm in, the GM said, hey, you're getting your normal stat bonuses and can't trade them for feats, but every 3 levels you get to pick a feat. So he's given us both.
Okay, that's good.
So, yeah, I really like that. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, because it was just like, I played in a game where it was the traditional, and it was just like, wow, this feels really limiting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. I'm not sure I like it, but I don't hate it completely.
Yeah. Our monk took Alert.
Alert's good. Alert's good.
Yeah, it's a solid, just all-rounder.
But there are some feats that are just not that good.
That's true. A lot of them are situation.
Yeah, like in 5e, the Elemental Adept feat is not that great at times. I think it's the Elemental Adept, or it might be Elemental Savant or something.
Elemental Adept, your spells ignore resistance to a damage type and treat any 1 in damage as a 2.
No, it's not that one. There's another one.
Okay.
forget what it's called. It's elemental something.
I'm looking at a list of like the core 5e feats, and I don't see another elemental one. Maybe it's a third-party one.
Is it elemental adept? Elemental.
Oh, maybe they've added a new one because I don't have all these books selected. I haven't added Fizban's Treasury of Dragons.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the player's handbook.
Elemental
Manitars.
expertise.
Danny, just put it down.
Okay.
You're done eating. We're done
You gain
playing this
resistance
game.
against a chosen damage type. If you already have resistance, you gain immunity instead. No, it's not that.
Open your mouth.
Okay.
You've not even swallowed what you were chewing
What
on.
was it?
Swallow it. Why should I give you any sort of treats if you still? I gave you 4 pieces and you've only eaten 2 of them and it's
Maybe
been an
I'm remembering
hour.
something else.
No. Give hugs.
Actually, I was going to say elemental expertise looks broken as hell.
Yeah. Okay. Good night, Danny.
Give hugs.
Maybe if
Did you
I
swallow it?
maybe if I look at a list of
Spit
bad
it
D&D
out.
feats,
We're
it
not
might
playing
remind
this
me
game
of the
anymore.
one I'm looking for.
Come here.
Yeah, elemental expertise on the D&D wiki is just
Did you eat
broken.
What I told
good.
you to eat?
Good God.
Yeah, no, it's broken.
You screwed around for the last hour chewing something to death. You didn't actually
I remember
eat
there was
it.
Actor. Actor was bad.
Hug and go to bed. I don't want to hear it. You're going to bed because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Do not make me come down there after you or you will not like it. Go to bed. 3. You're not getting watermelon because you didn't finish
I remember
your dinner.
everybody like shits on Actor.
Let's see. +1 charisma, advantage on deception and performance.
Go.
Mimic the speech of a person to the sounds made by a creature. It's not bad, but I would say that it's
You
not,
had to have heard that creature for at least a minute.
It would be good in certain kinds of games, like if you're running a very social game, political. I could see it being handy, but in a generic D&D game where you have some of that, some combat, it seems like it would be a little underpowered.
Yeah, a lot of people also say Weapon Master is also bad.
Let's see. Weapon Master. +1 strength or dex, and you gain proficiency with 4 weapons. Ooh, yeah, I would say that is not great.
Yeah, and they have to be simple or martial. They cannot be exotic.
Yeah.
That's like, oof.
That really feels like just a waste of a feat slot.
Yeah. It's just like, why? Why would you do this?
Yeah, I would not take that.
Keen Mind apparently is bad.
Keen Mind. Keen Mind.
Hey, Wizen.
+1 intelligence, know which way is north, win the next sunrise, sunset, and recall any events within the past month. That's really flavorful, but yeah, not mechanically worth it.
Yeah, especially if you take good notes.
Exactly. Recall any events within the past month is basically useless if you're taking notes. Knowing which way is north, cool. Most people aren't running campaigns where the players are lost regularly. Yeah, would not take it.
Yeah, no. It's a little bizarre. It's just like, why would you do this?
Wow, elemental expertise, I'm comparing it to the list of actual feats, and it's combining the effects of 2 feats that already exist and some additional shit.
Oh, okay, so apparently my voice is very quiet. I don't get it.
I can hear you pretty well, but I'm not listening to you through Twitch. I'm listening to you through Discord.
That might be why people are leaving so much. It's because like my voice is super quiet. Let me try changing some levels. Alright. How's that, Wizen? Is that better? Hello? Okay.
Okay.
So I was being quiet. So they weren't hearing me, but they were hearing you, and that might be why everybody was leaving. I was like, why are my numbers so low today? And I'm like, oh, that might be why. Shit happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think he could hear you, but it was just really quiet. So.
Yeah. Weird. Okay. Thank you, Wizen.
Let's see. What else? I have the list of things that I'm interested in for my bard as potentials. I was looking at Lucky and Alert as possibilities.
Those are good ones.
I looked at Warcaster. Just, yeah, being able to maintain concentration with advantage and, do spell opportunity attacks could be useful. I think our Cleric has that. I was looking at Fey Touched, which would give me +1 to a mental stat and learn Misty Step and a first level divination or enchantment spell.
Misty Step is useful.
Yes, and I believe Hex is an enchantment spell, and that could be pretty useful.
By the way, I had to get rid of the water for the explosives.
Oh?
It didn't work.
Well, how did you handle the explosions near the hives then?
Claim chunk.
Oh, okay, so it just didn't blow up stuff.
Yeah.
No, you didn't eat your dinner.
I don't know why. It was just like, fuck it, let's go.
Okay, well.
Okay. Not sure what was going on there, but hey, whatever.
Let's see, what else? I looked at Inspiring Leader, which basically to give up to 6 creatures within 30 feet of me temporary hit points. I think one of our other party members might be looking at that one, though.
Yeah, that's not a terrible one. That's not a terrible one at all. What the hell?
Defensive Duelist. Basically to get a bonus to AC in reaction to a melee attack. I'm thinking I might not do that one just because I have better uses for my reactions as a bard.
That's fair.
And then Skill Expert, which is just +1 ability score, proficiency in an extra skill, and expertise in another skill. So, if I want to continue being the absolute master of skill.
That is a good thing to have. That is a very good thing to have.
Yes, I'm quite enjoying having expertise, and yeah, proficiency in various skills.
Yeah, everything you're good at, you're suddenly amazing at, and everything that you were amazing at before, you're suddenly, you're godly at.
Yep.
It's like, shit, man.
Let's see. I could consider telepathic, which would allow me to basically drop tongues from my spell list, since I could telepathically converse with any creature within 60 feet.
That would be helpful.
Yeah. Let's see. There was another one here that I was considering.
And
Not Magic Initiate.
The other problem I had with the 5e game I played in, though, was the DM refused to give us, like, basic magic items. Like, every magic item we got had to be, like, the shield of, this with this backstory and all this jazz. And I'm like, can we just get a +1 sword? Like, please?
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally fine with just a Wand of Magic Missile or a +1 sword. Like, fuck it, dude.
Absolutely.
And he just would not do it. And I'm like... And then he wondered why, like, we were getting our shit rocked.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I wonder. Could it possibly be, the shit that was, hitting us like a freaking Mack truck, and we didn't have the magical items to defend it?
I will say that our group, we started at 5th level, and he told us, here's your budget, and here's a list of prices for magic items. You can spend your stuff on, one permanent item, or you can spend it on one permanent item and some, like, potions. And so most of us have, like, a +1 weapon or something, which is good.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. Shit. The biggest mistake I think 5th Ed ever made, hands down, was not having a magic item price list. What was that?
I said, I was agreeing with you.
That was the dumbest thing they ever did. Because it was like, they're sitting there going, oh yeah, we'll let the DMs figure that out. I'm like, no, you need to have power scaling for your items.
Yeah.
And leaving it to your DMs will fuck this. Because we're all going to look at each other and go, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, come on, guys. Use some common sense here.
Yeah.
And
it's just a huge omission.
And I feel like I don't know if the playtesters missed this or if they just, I don't get it.
Yeah, our GM linked us to a Google Drive copy of a document called Sane Magical Prices.
I've seen that. Yeah, that was probably the best thing that someone ever came up with. It was just like, what the hell? And the guy who was running my game was like, oh, it's, DMs just have to stop being lazy and just do it. And I'm like, you do understand how much work goes into being a DM, right?
Right. And how many items there are just to create prices for.
It, like, come on, man. Like, don't be dumb. It is just like, I just wanted to, like, reach over and just slap him.
Yep.
I was like, that is so stupid. Mind you, it wasn't the dumbest DM I've ever dealt with, but it was still like, what happened here? And I cannot imagine what to do in that instance. Just like, what could you possibly be thinking at that point?
Yeah.
And now we got D&D Beyond being purchased by Wizards, so let's hope that doesn't monkey that up.
I mean, I think overall Wizards has been doing pretty well in recent years. I haven't done anything that made me go, oh god, the game's going to die.
Yeah, thankfully.
So.
They haven't done anything too heinous. Which is good.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And that makes me go, okay.
Yeah, I have hopes that them buying D&D Beyond will basically smooth the fact that, previously you had to buy the digital version of a book to use it in D&D Beyond. Maybe they can integrate that now.
Hopefully.
That way, maybe at least you can get a discount.
Yeah, hopefully. Jesus Christ. That's my only hope.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping it doesn't go the way of the Fourth Ed shit. Because
yeah, fourth edition just ugh.
Oh my god.
Less said the better.
Yeah. Friggin' bastardized child of D&D.
Yeah.
Danny, go to bed.
Oh my god, why? Why did they do this? What else was there? Good gods. There is still one character I want to play, and to date I have not gotten to finish him. And one day I will.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a drunken master half-dragon monk.
Okay.
His name is Rainier. His dragon lineage is silver. And I never got to finish him. I've played him in 3 or 4 games. And just never get the chance to get him done. His main story.
Ah, I see. I wondered what you meant by finishing him, but that makes more sense now.
Yeah, like his story just never gets done. And it's just like, god damn it. And he's the part, like, I always play him off as, like, the party's drunken therapist.
Okay.
And so, like, so that way, like, if I am, like, DMing and he's the character I'm playing, he's not taking center stage.
Right.
I make it a point not to do that. The last game he was in, the game was going fairly well. We had the Artificer, and he had a southern draw accent.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. By the way, Wizen, am I too loud now, or am I good? Because I adjusted the volume again. I'm hoping it's decent. Because I'm trying to mess with this microphone to where I don't have to yell to be heard. At least that's my hope. Like, am I blaring your ears off in Discord?
No, I hear you pretty consistently.
Okay, so now we're at volume change in Discord, so it's just wonder what's going on with this.
But I have to ask our party warlock if he minds if I take maybe magic initiate, because I'll be honest, there are a couple of warlock things that I would not mind picking up.
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast is better than any ranged weapon that I could possibly have.
This is true.
I mean, technically, I guess a bow can fire farther than 120 feet, but it doesn't do as much damage as Eldritch Blast does, so...
I think... Yeah. Give me a second. I think there's an Eldritch Blast. It's an invocation or a feat? Eldritch... Blast. 5e... Distance... Increase... It's an invocation. Damn. And I don't think there's a way to get an invocation without being a warlock.
There is Eldritch Adept. You learn 1 Eldritch invocation.
Okay, because there's an Eldritch invocation called Eldritch Spear.
Mm-hmm.
Which... Give me a second. Let me see if I can pull that up. Because it's supposed to increase Eldritch Blast. Let me see what it is. Eldritch Spear. Yeah, Eldritch Blast range becomes 300 feet.
Okay.
So, there you go. I gotta say, the closest thing I ever experienced to Warlock in Pathfinder that is not third-party content is Kineticist.
Mm-hmm.
They're just the friggin' kinetic blasts, man. They're straight up.
I do. I'm a fan of the kineticist class.
I love it too. I've definitely taken a shine to it. Okay. I've definitely taken a shine to that class. One of the players in Mark's game played another Sonic class called, I think it was called like Aegis or something. And man, it was brutal. It was potent.
Don't think I recall that one.
Yeah, or something like that. I forget what exactly it was called, but it was potent. And man, was he wrecking shit. He had a creature that he could form as his armor, and the creature would also break off of him. So I'm not sure what it was about. So, like, it was just like, good lord. And if I ever found out what class it was, I would share it. But when he left the game, he erased his character sheet.
Yo.
Yeah. And we were all confused when he did that. It was like, really? What?
Yeah, that seems kind of weird.
It's like, okay. Though Mark's game's got a couple games left to go, and then it'll be done. And then we'll be finished with Rise of the Rune Lords.
Awesome.
And then we'll be playing Scion.
Okay.
That's what they voted on next.
I hope it goes well for you. I know that the game has some balance issues, but it seems like really fun. So.
Yeah, it's not... I feel like it's not meant to be a good long-term game. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, as long as everybody understands that and has fun with it, then that's the main goal.
Yeah. Having fun is the most important thing about a game.
Yeah. Oh man, there are so many guys here. The other thing, though, I always worry about is...
Enemy submarine in sight. Torpedoes, direct front.
Oh, I can't. Oh, what was I going to say? God damn, my brain is not here today. But I'm also kind of worried about what's coming this week. Oh, that's not going to be fun.
What's not going to be fun?
Oh, you know how WVU is doing commencement?
Uh-huh.
I get to work it.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
And I didn't get a choice in the matter.
Yeah. Voluntold.
Yeah. And what makes it even worse is it's 14-hour days.
Lord.
If not more.
I mean, you can only work so many hours before they make you overtime, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to hit overtime.
I hope that it's bearable and that you make some good money from the overtime then.
I just hope the overtime's worth it. 'Cause that's my concern.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are just... They're going to town on it. Because that was my concern. It was just like, I start work at 6:30 in the morning, and I do not stop until about 9 at night.
You get a break, right? They have to give you breaks.
Sort of. It's more of my breaks are when people aren't around, but I still have to be on alert.
I mean, like the U.S. Department of Labor, there are some federal laws about working people for more than a certain duration without a break.
I'm fairly certain I get like a lunch break maybe, and that's about it.
Oh yeah, you would definitely have to have a lunch break.
Yeah,
Yes.
I get a lunch break, but I'm fairly certain I'm not probably going to get more than that.
I would assume that there's got to be at least a couple of 15-minuters in there just for like bathroom and stuff.
I think their way of saying my 15 minutes are when people aren't around, run inside.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not necessarily inconsistent. You know, a lot of fast food places like, oh, hey, we're not busy right now. Somebody go take the break.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the case. I remember when I used to work for McDonald's, I turned in the regional manager to the labor board because we didn't get even lunch breaks whenever she showed up.
Wow.
And that was multiple weekends in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And so I turned her into the labor board. And she tried arguing with the county labor guy.
How'd that go for
her? He informed her that if she didn't shut her mouth, that he was going to call OSHA and the fine was going to quintuple. Because his fine was $1,000 a person for each shift.
Uh-huh.
You know, basically for each instance that was broken. OSHA's is $5,000. So his total fine cost was like I think like $150,000 to $250,000 for all 3 weekends, and like the OSHA one would have been in the millions.
Yeah.
So it would have been like congratulations.
Yeah, I'm sure the franchisee would have been thrilled with her.
Oh yeah, Ebert would have been pissed. Oh yeah, that would have been going all too well. I gotta wait for my payment for my credit card to go through. I just paid it tonight, and hopefully see how much budget I have left and see how much money I can give to my artist.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's asking for, if possible, I can give him half. So that way, you know, school budget stuff for him.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to at least play nice the best I can for him.
Absolutely.
Because he's done a great job so far.
He has definitely done good work for you so far.
Oh, yeah. And I definitely want more of that. He's starting to work on environmental stuff, too. So, which means we'll have environment art soon. Like terrains and stuff.
Okay.
For the book.
Cool.
And so that will be nice. I'll be like, yes.
Let's see. But yeah, circling back to D&D for a bit. I'm looking forward to when we hit 6th level and get that next feat. I have so many options that would be good. I'm struggling to decide which one that I'm going to take.
And that's always the fun part. It's just like, what can I do to get it? Like, what should I take? What should I do? Fuck. One of these days, though, I'm gonna, like, whenever we see each other in person again, I gotta bring over, my Twisted Tavern stuff for you.
Okay.
Dude, you'll like it.
Yeah, it could be cool. I've seen some of the ones you've shown off on stream.
Yeah, I'll bring the book. Or maybe I could just send you the PDF, let you read through it that way.
Okay.
Because Good lord. The PDF is... What? Really? What is that?
This was part of a toy.
Oh, Danny had a toy.
Destroyed it?
Yeah, he destroyed it.
Again.
But no, with Twisted Taverns, like, I could send you the PDF, and some of the stuff in it is just really cool as hell. And it's just so helpful. Especially if you just need, like, some sort of random inn or tavern. Just like, fuck it, that's all I need.
I do love collections of like random tables for generation. Sometimes the results you get are absolutely ridiculous, which can be fun in its own way.
Oh yeah, it's because you just sit there and you're like, what? Oh Christ.
I think my favorite is the fantasy name generator, inns and taverns generator.
Oh my god.
Sometimes if I need an inn or tavern or something, I'll roll on that one and just like I'll pick one to use and then have to share a bunch of the others with the group because it's like, oh my god, this is ridiculous.
One of the ones is I like the Donjon one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it also gives you like a menu and like some people in it.
Yep.
And it's just like holy crap, it is just craziness. It gives you some cool stuff. Mm-hmm. It really does, like the Donjon one. Sorry, my friend Emma just posted something huge, and I didn't get a chance to read it all, but I know it's big.
You okay?
I don't know. I haven't got a chance to read it.
I was going to take a soak if possible.
If you want to take my phone, hun, and read it, just to find out what the heck is going on.
I can't come near you right now.
Oh. Okay. Give me a second. All right. 1 sec, guys. I gotta hand my phone to my wife real quick.
Yep.
Where's my phone? Go soak and read it, and then I'll talk to you later about it. Alright. Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Alright. So, that takes care of that. But yeah, Twisted Taverns is a really good book. Another one I'd recommend is actually surprisingly... see if I can find it. RPGs and games, RPGs, D&D books, 5th Ed. Got Twisted Taverns. The Monster Hunters is a good one because it gives you cool stuff. But so is the Adventurer's Domestic Handbook.
Domestic Handbook.
Yes. Give me a second. I'm pulling it up. Alright. It is literally a handbook on... where is it? About marriage, about having kids, owning a business, buying and establishing a home, romanceable NPCs. Stuff like that. It's kind of like this weird little side book that is interesting. Oh, whoops! I pulled up RimWorld as kind of like a little side thing, and I forgot that it has Twitch toolkit core attached to it.
Yep.
Because I was going to play my single player game.
Yeah, it sounds like an extension for RPGs to do like Stardew Valley type stuff.
Sort of, except, you know, you can do a little weirder shit with it, but yeah. There's Deck of Many Things, same magical prices. I have Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Yep.
What else do I have? Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, Wayfarer's Guide to Eberron, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, Acquisitions Incorporated.
I did not pick up Acquisitions Incorporated. I like the Penny Arcade guys. I read the strip quite a bit, but I just never bothered to pick up that D&D source book.
Yeah.
Just letting everybody know that she's having a really hard time and she's doing her damn best, but she's just struggling mentally.
Okay.
Love you.
I just want to make sure she was okay.
As okay as she can be given everything she's been going through.
Fair enough. Oh, all right. God. But no, some of the things that they have on here are good lord. Like I'm not sure how well this is gonna come up. This is one of the taverns right here. The shanty. It's literally a ship.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Like you would like a tavern that is a ship.
Absolutely.
And I was like, that totally makes sense. Who else? What are one that was kind of neat? The Fungal Grove, which is a one in a giant mushroom.
Okay.
I was like, that's kind of neat. There's Tavern at Death's Door, which is shaped like a coffin.
Uh-huh.
And it has like a skeleton running it.
Nice.
Which is like weird, but cool. There's By the Frost, which is like a Viking place.
Sure.
There's the Wildback Deep, which is you're on the back of a giant creature that wanders around.
Okay.
There's the Drunken Treasure, which is at the bottom of the ocean.
Gotcha.
And you have to get to it somehow. And it moves.
Nice.
So it's like it's never in the same spot. It's like, fuck, man. So, like, some of the taverns are kind of cool. Yeah, the Monster Hunter book is wild.
Yeah, you told me bits about that one.
Yeah, let's see if I can find one for you that's like... Because they come up with new conditions, like slick, tarred, water blight. There's Kuyaku, Titsuyaku. Oh, there's Buke. There he is. He can... He makes 3 attacks, 2 with his tongue and 1 with his tail. And you can replace any one of these with a poison spit attack.
Nice.
And he's challenge rating 4. He has a poison spray that recharges. You have to roll a d6 whenever every turn he does. After he does it, on a 5 or a 6, it recharges.
Okay.
Poisonous gas from his tail in a 30-foot cone. All creatures in the area must make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw, or take 27 or 6d8 poison damage, and become poisoned for 1 minute on a failed save, or half as much damage on a success, and not poisoned on a successful one. So 27 poison damage.
That's a chunk.
Yeah, poison spit is 10 damage every time it hits you, with a range of 30/120.
not too bad on the range.
Yeah. +4 to hit. So there is that. If he eats any of the nuts that he likes to eat, diet. A creature poisoned by Puki Puki suffers an extra condition based on what Puki Puki is eaten. To determine the condition, roll a d4. On a 1, you're stunned. 2, you're deafened. 3, you're paralyzed. 4, you're blind.
Well, that could be nasty.
Yeah. Let's see. What's another good fun one? Let's see. Yeah, Rajang. I haven't fought him in the game yet, so I don't know him too well. Let's see, what's fun? Oh, Palumu! Fuck this thing. It's so fluffy. You'll see, I don't know if the picture, not Nightshade Palumu doesn't show up very well either. It puffs up like a balloon.
Okay.
That big neck balloon thing that's on his neck that basically begs for you to shoot and stab it. Guess what you have to do?
Shoot and or stab it?
Yeah, that's its weak point. Because that makes sense. Rathian. Oh yeah, Grand Pacer Fit Test. Fuck this thing. Has 133 hit points, 40-foot movement speed, 80-foot fly, challenge rating 8. It's immune to fire, resistant to fire, immune to poison, resistant to fire, cannot be charmed, frightened, or poisoned. Has dark vision 60 feet, passive perception 14. It makes two attacks, one with its bite, one with its tail. While flying, it can use its talon in place of its bite attack. Bite deals 17 damage on average. Talons do 14 damage on average. Stinger does 14 damage on average, and these all have +7 to hit. If you get hit with the Stinger, you have to make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. You take 17 poison damage on a failed save, half as much damage on a successful one, and it can shoot a fireball within 100 feet. Dexterity 15 saving throw, 42 fire damage if you fail.
Nasty.
And then its husband, which is worse. 45 damage for fire, and then all its damage just basically goes up. And instead of immune to poison, it's immune to fire and resistant to poison.
Gotcha.
So, fun times. Diablos. Yeah, Ferdinand. Yep. Diablos and Black Diablos. God damn, those things are heinous. Diablos is the male one. Black Diablos is the female one. And Black Diablos is angrier.
Fair enough.
Legiana, big flying iceberg with a shriek that'll make you want to claw out your friggin' ears. And then there's a shrieking version which doesn't shut the fuck up. Because god damn it. And there's Basil Goose, which by honest has the coolest theme in the damn game. I love its theme. Because it has violins that wail. That make it sound like a siren. Like an air raid siren.
I gotcha.
As if to give you a warning that pine cone cometh. Because it has a big jiggling neck grenade pine cone on its body. And, yeah, it's fun. I like it. It's fun. Incanor, Baroth, Urgon. Oh, look. T-Rex that breathes fire. Anjanath. T-Rex that breathes lightning. Fulgur Anjanath. Benbaro, which is basically a very big goat that has an attitude problem.
Goats with attitude.
Glavenus, which is basically Godzilla with a flaming tail that is a sword. And then acidic Glavenus, which is basically Godzilla with an acidic blade tail. Lightning Squirrel. Yep. So yeah, this book can be fun. It gives you all kinds of fun, interesting shit.
Yeah, I'd probably have more use for it if I'd ever played the Monster Hunter games, I guess, but...
I'd see it as more useful if, like, you ever wanted to have, like, a weird monster.
No, I mean, yeah, but there are other places to get weird monsters.
This is true.
I've got Tome of Beasts from one of the third-party companies that allows me to throw in some things that my party doesn't have memorized if I want to, you know, surprise them with something that they haven't seen before.
Surprise, motherfucker. Oh my god, that thing's too heavy? What the fuck? God damn, no one can use that weapon. They gave me a uranium slug rifle and no one can fucking use it. What the fuck is this shit?
Guess you'll have to genetically engineer some stronger colonists.
Yeah, I know. It's like, the fuck, man? This is weird. As I choke on my lungs. I gotta say though, like, one of the games I do want to run one day is my aquatic game, like my pirate/aquatic game, because like Anne has a character she wants to play. Oop. That's supposed to be Mark. And don't get me wrong, I would very much like to, you know, play Runeer because that's the game Runeer's in.
Sure.
And it's just like, come on, man. It'd be so nice to just be able to do it. But for some reason, it's just like, we just can't get the right group.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the greatest challenges of being a game master, is getting the group together on a consistent schedule.
Yeah.
And
it is what it is. I mean, you really can't do much about that.
Real life comes first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just like, damn. I don't know what to say at that point. It's just like, shit. Because that's one game I want to run, and it'd be fun. We did finish Star Wars, and that was great. And I was happy about that.
Yep, we had a good run. We got to the end.
Yeah. We got to the end on that one. What other games do I have that I just never got to finish? Let me find out. Because I have my Google Drive. Game voting list. Let's see what we got here. The Diablo game I would like to do because it is a continuation of the To Make a King game. So there's that. Maybe one day the Zelda game, but that's a lot of work. Because I have to sit there and build every dungeon from scratch.
Yeah.
And that's going to be fucking hard. I wouldn't mind going back to the WoD game, though. Like, revisiting King's Willow.
I would say that that's an interesting possibility, though I would probably say don't set it in 2008 this time.
Oh, no. I was
It was
planning.
hard to remember. Oh, go ahead.
I was planning on like jumping it forward like 10, 20 years.
It's hard to play a game set in the recent past because you're always going, was that a thing by that year? I don't remember.
Yeah.
So that would be the one piece of advice I have with regard to that game.
Yeah, no, I was planning on jumping it forward quite a bit. At least that was the plan. Other than that, nothing really else stands out to me. Because I'm playing the Dungeon Keeper game on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of fun. We're having a blast with that. Dalton's going to town on people as his evil overlord. He's not being an edgelord either.
Uh-huh.
That was like the big concern a lot of people had. Was like, oh god, he's going to be an edgelord. I'm like, nah, he's not doing edgelordy shit.
Well, you know, everybody has phases. Maybe he's moved past that particular phase.
Yeah, maybe.
I always have a list of like a dozen games that I would love to run, and it's always a treat for me if I get to take one of them off the shelf and actually run it.
Oh yeah. Sometimes the problem I run into though is sometimes people are like, oh, I have this idea and I really want to run it. And I'm like, it's not on my shelf.
Oh, you mean just like a particular system?
Not just a particular system, but like they have a setting they have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, god damn it, okay. And that's like what the group wants.
But you're the one that's supposed to GM it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But like, because I always do things like by democratic vote.
I do things by vote to a degree, but I'll usually give them a list to select from.
Yeah.
So it's not like total freeform chaos or anything like that.
Oh yeah. Like, well, usually what I'll do is like a couple of weeks ahead of time, I'll be like, okay, you know, this is what we're doing. This is who wants to run games, who wants to do this, and then we'll kind of get everybody to vote and throw in ideas, and then we'll vote from there. And usually I'll throw in my list.
My process is usually more like, here's a list of ideas I have for the next game. You can vote from amongst this list. If somebody wants to pitch me something, I'm open to it, but it has to be something that will click in my brain like, yeah, I think I could make a good game out of this. Because, just to use an example, one of my players pitched the idea of running something that was quote-unquote solar punk. And solar punk is not a genre that I have a good handle on what the fuck it is.
Ooh, yeah, no.
So I was like, can you give me an example so I can give you an answer? And she wasn't really able to define it very well. Just, you know, basically a rebelliously hopeful setting. And I'm like, I mean, I guess that's more of a tone than a genre. We could play around with that, but I still don't have a concrete idea that I could just say, yes, this is going to be a solar punk game.
Yeah.
And you know, so I couldn't bring myself to run that because I don't know what it is.
Yeah, at that point, that's not helpful. And that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if she comes back with a more refined version of the idea and I can wrap my brain around it, then, you know, maybe it'll inspire something. But usually I'll come up with a list of things based on what I know my players like and say, okay, here's a range of options. The most recent vote I did was on different kinds of sci-fi games because basically I was burnt out on fantasy, and I told them I can't run fantasy, so that's off the table.
Yeah, I need a break.
I offered, I think, sci-fi or superheroes or horror, and they centered around sci-fi. And I was like, okay, here are 5 sci-fi ideas that I could run. Which one do you guys like best?
Yeah, and hopefully they worked with something that worked.
Yeah, they surprised me. I fully expected that the Star Trek style game would win because I have a couple of big Star Trek nuts, but one of my biggest Star Trek nuts voted for the game that was the least like Star Trek that I could possibly offer. So I guess he was just in a funny mood.
I guess. I got my hands on a Star Trek game recently.
Yeah, you said the Modifius one?
Yeah, Star Trek Adventures. So, I'm gonna try that one day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do plan on it. And, like, the last time we brought it up for vote, I thought, honestly, that would have had a chance of winning because several of my players are Star Trek aficionados and stuff, and I thought, okay, this seems like it had a good chance of winning. Nah, it barely got votes. And that surprised me.
Well, pure Star Trek is an especially tricky one to run because nobody wants somebody else to be the captain. If you're running a Federation-style game that has that hierarchy, someone's going to be the captain, either an NPC or a player, and it's like, okay, well, that reduces your player character agency a whole lot just right off the bat. So you have to be careful with Star Trek games, like, make it non-standard. The one that I would pitch that was Star Trek-like was basically, okay, you're a freelance team of explorers on the frontiers of known space. You guys are essentially independent contractors. You can pretty much do whatever you want with your ship as long as you can broadly justify your expenses as exploration. That way they could determine their own hierarchy, if any.
Right.
And I think that one ended up in second place in the votes, which was, fine. But like I said, I fully expected that one to do gangbusters.
That's honestly a little surprising.
But that's okay. I have it in my back pocket for the next time I need a game to run.
Oh, yeah. And, like, the Diablo game also could be fun one day. Like, if someone just wants, like, a dungeon crawl hack and slash. Which
I was...
Go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead. I was going to say, I pitched a Diablo game once upon a time to my group based on the Shadow of the Demon Lord system, which is, dark, grim fantasy that's basically, it's Diablo, but, without the IP rights.
Right. AP, hey, welcome. We're just hanging out. I'm playing some RimWorld while we're talking D&D shit.
I guess I should do my entry since I've been here the whole time.
That's fair. Hopefully my sound is decent. It's not too low, not too high for you guys. We were having some sound issues earlier. AP loves your sound alert.
It is festive.
It's very festive. Quite yet. It's about to be done. Alright. Gods. Everybody's sleeping too. Man. Oh, man. My friend Keelan also messaged me recently. She wants to, or they want to start up Amp Guard again in Fairmont.
Oh, neat.
Yep. It's they do it at the park off of, I think, 5th Street or something.
Okay, yeah, I know where that park is.
I think that's the park. It's like a little small park with a fence.
Yeah.
We haven't been having much luck before getting it off the ground, but that was when COVID was in full gear.
Yeah. COVID put the kibosh on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, so we're gonna see if they want to start that back up and see how that goes. So, maybe I'll have to fix my sword finally, to where, you know, it ain't broke shit. I am kind of leaving it broken though, so that way the person who is supposed to check all the weapons to make sure that they're in working order. I'm gonna hand him my sword and see if it's see if he notices that it's not a legal sword. Because if he tells me it's legal, I'm gonna look at him and go, "You may want to recheck that."
Yeah.
Which, you know, he'll act all confused and he'll be like, "The sword be broken, man." And he'll be like, "Oh, and I'm like, "Yeah, you got a lot to learn, my friend. Here, let's teach you a few things." And use it as a learning experience for him. Like, I'm not going to be an asshole, but at the same time, he's got to learn to be safe. Oh, Ramen is telling me to do a posture check. Ramen's here finally.
Awesome.
Pity
hopefully,
we're not doing... yeah, hopefully he's here for Minecraft next week.
Yes. I would love to get in some Minecraft and finish up that exploration chapter.
Yes, that would be nice. So we can kill those fucking buggers. Because we have a video to record. At least the two of us, if not the three of us. I'll see what I can do next week. That would be nice. Because we have a video to record and send to the devs. Be like, "Hey, here's the shit that's broke. Here's our suggestions on how to fix it." Just an idea.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, I love the monumental amount of work that clearly went into MC Eternal. I love the variety of options, but there are a couple of little things that I think could be done to improve the quality of life a lot.
Oh, yeah. I kind of like, part of me with the next Minecraft pack, I know you like science, but I also wanted to kind of do like almost like a D&D Minecraft.
Sure.
But I was like, I don't know if there's a way to do both. It's like,
Yeah, I'm not really big on playing Minecraft without some of the conveniences of science. You know,
yeah.
I like to make things more efficient as I go along. And I don't know that many of the magic systems that I've run into have the equivalent of like ore doubling or, you know, the flux bore, you know, for drilling faster.
Yeah, it's something that we're going to have to like look into and see what we can do.
Well, you know, and if you want to do a D&D pack, I'm not saying I won't necessarily play it. It's just not something that I would spend as much time on as one with, you know, science to crawl up the science tree.
Oh yeah, I also want to make sure everybody's having fun though.
Yep.
But now that we know that fuck, what was it? Shockbite has God, God, my brain, can you please,
Starbound.
Starbound, thank you. Fucking hey. ShopBite now has Starbound. That might be something we can do.
Yeah.
That could be fun. Also, you played Skyrim, right?
I've played Oblivion, the one before Skyrim.
Well, apparently, I know you won't play Fallout 4 because that's more of a first-person shooter than anything.
Yeah.
Skyrim has a mod that that turns it into a multiplayer game.
Is it stable?
It is considered stable now.
Okay.
They released it as stable.
Well, it's a stable build, but I mean, does it offer a stable play experience? That's sort of a different but related question.
Yeah. So far from what I've read, it looks like it's playing stable. But at least that's what I've been reading. It seems like it's been playing stable.
Okay.
So that might be something worth considering. But it does require a particular Skyrim purchase. Because you have to have the Skyrim Special Edition.
I see.
So, there is that. Because it says Skyrim Special Edition, this patch, edition.
Right.
To keep it the most stable. So, there is that. And I'm hoping one of the mods I'm really into is also available for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what the mod does is it essentially allows you, when you get an item, instead of always having to sell your items for money, which by the time you get to a certain point in Skyrim, that's worthless.
Right.
You encountered that with Oblivion as well, where septums were just like, oh hey, I just got another 300 septums. Whoa. It allows you to instead turn it into materials. You can disassemble it for some of the materials.
Neat.
Which is way more useful. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I want that.
Yeah, I've spent a few hours, I would say less than 20 hours in Oblivion. I very quickly got overwhelmed by the number of things that could be done. That's a problem I have with a lot of open world games. It's like, paralysis of choice. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I don't do anything. And then I move on to a game with more defined options, or at least more immediate feedback on those options. Like MC Eternal, yeah, you can do all these things, but some of the things are very easy to achieve and will make, your life easier in the near future.
Yeah, Skyrim is a little better about that. The quests are like, if you pick a group you join, they have a storyline for you to complete, and you can do that. So that helps a lot. The other cool thing with Skyrim is, unlike Oblivion, where you could buy a house and you could sort of decorate the house, and that's about all you can do. For Oblivion, Skyrim has one of the expansions where you can build an entire house from scratch.
Neat.
And you can decide what you put in it. Like, you could say, oh, I want to build, an ultimate mage's house. So I build, an enchantment tower and a greenhouse to grow my alchemical goods and shit. And all that jazz. It also lets you adopt 2 kids. And that could also be good or bad, depending on how you raise them.
Okay.
Because, you know, some people are fucking sociopaths.
Sure.
I've seen some people who literally just turn their children in Skyrim to the most psychotic, murderous little demons you will ever meet. Like, you look at it and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Child labor laws don't apply if the profession is something illegal like assassin.
Technically, that's true. And remember, it's not a war crime the first time. Oh, God.
Under 18, walks out clean.
Jesus Christ. Did I ever educate you on something I experienced when I was in the military called the E4 Mafia?
The E4 Mafia? No.
Okay. It's not actually a mafia. It's just a joke. Okay?
Right.
It's jokingly called that. In the Marines, it's referred to as the Lance Corporal Underground.
Okay.
Alright? So, you understand the term E in E4 stands for enlisted.
Yes.
Okay. 4 is the 4th rank in enlisted.
Yep.
Alright? Once you hit the 5th rank in enlisted, you are now a non-commissioned officer.
Yes.
Alright? Which means you are now responsible for people under you.
Right.
So an E4 is the highest you can get before you are now responsible for people under you.
Yep.
Alright, keep this in mind. There is a term in the military for the ability to do things without actually accomplishing work. It is referred to as shamming. Alright? The E4 symbol is referred to as the sham shield.
Okay.
Alright? And E4s are exceptionally known for basically being very good at doing nothing. And trying not to get caught. Or, how do I put this? Did you ever hear the quote from, God, who was the guy in Microsoft? God, I just
Bill
had...
Gates.
Bill Gates.
Steve Ballmer.
Bill Gates. The quote Bill Gates says the best thing you could do to get a task done the most efficient is to give it to someone lazy. Because he will find the quickest way to get it done so he can go back to being lazy. That is the E4. Uncle Sam does that.
Okay.
Alright? So, like, to give you an idea of how that's being done, more than 90% of, like, heavy machine gunners in the U.S. military are E4s.
Okay.
Because the last thing the enemy wants is to be labeled as the work by a group of people who want nothing more than to take a fucking nap. Alright? This is like crazy shit. Oh, we got fucking boomaloops. How many do I have? One ring. Really? What? You said you were driven insane. You're not doing shit. Okay. Fuck it, game. Have at it. Anyway, so like for example, if you give a bunch of E4s a job and tell them it's like it will take you 3 days to get this done, they will have it done by lunchtime. Especially if you tell them they can take a nap afterwards.
Right.
I once knew a gentleman who was so good at hiding from work that his code name was, and jokingly his code name was Waldo. And like how he did it was like, this man deserves like a fucking, should teach a master class in this shit. One example of what he would do is he would grab a piece of paper, like I'll hold up a piece of paper like this, blank piece of paper. He would grab it and walk with purpose in a direction. And then he would open a door and close it behind him. And if you would watch him, you would swear he was going into a classroom, a hallway, or something. Nah, it was a fucking mop closet. So you could take a 45-minute nap. It was like that bad. It was like, Jesus Christ.
Always look busy.
Now here's the funny thing. E4s, the E's, E above them, like E5s and above, know what E4s do. Alright? Because they were E4s at one point. Alright? Why do they get away with this? Well, they get favors from the E4s. Because no one's better at, I'm going to put this in quotations, requisitioning things better than the E4s. Like, you need a supply run off base and you can't really tell anyone about it, tell the E4s. Like, seriously, go tell them to go do it. It will get done. Just make sure you cover for them.
Yeah.
And it'll be done. It's like, goddamn. But I got reminded of the E4s recently, and I was just like laughing, and I told Anne about this, and she was just like, she looked at me kind of funny, and then she asked her mother and her father about it, and their reply told her everything, because they said they could not confirm nor deny that E4s existed. That the E4 Mafia existed.
I assume her dad was enlisted?
He was Navy.
Okay.
Her dad was Navy, her mother was Air Force.
Oh.
Look, anyone who's in the military, alright, for the most part, will tell you they will not confirm nor deny that the E4 Mafia exists. It is great. If you know someone who's still active in the military, and they say their rank is E4, get them to do you favors, because this shit will get done. Just don't ask them how they did it.
Yeah.
Though there's also a fun thing I also got reminded of today as well. There is a vehicle in the military, and it's in the Air Force and the Army, that is often referred to as the Death's Uber.
Okay.
It is a helicopter that I swear to fucking God is about the size of a Prius. And it carries 6 dudes, not including the pilot and the co-pilot.
Wow.
It's called the Little Egg. Alright? You have to be like a specialty pilot to pilot this little son of a bitch. But these things are used to literally land either on top of a small building or right in front of the building, because these things can land on a street with little difficulty. But they're jokingly referred to in the military as the Death's Uber. Because...
Death's Uber.
Death's Uber. Because how they work is, there are 4 of them that carry a bunch of dudes. Alright? And 2 of them are armed with 50 caliber chain guns and rocket pods. And for the Army, these things are usually piloted by a group of guys known as the Night Stalkers.
Okay.
Who have logged in more hours in a flight simulator then in a year, then you have worked at your job in the last 3.
Okay.
Like, they eat, sleep, and breathe in their simulator. I swear to God. Because these guys are trained in a way to where they could wear night vision goggles while flying, and they're about maybe 50 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
And fun fact about night vision, you don't have depth perception.
Okay.
You lose depth perception in night vision. So imagine flying 50 feet off the ground without depth perception.
Yeah, you'd have to be very careful on your instruments then.
Yeah, be very... Now, the dudes that get to ride along with these little death eggs are not your stereotypical soldiers. They're not your normal dudes. They're not your standard soldiers that just passed PT. No, they are your Green Berets, your Navy SEALs, those dudes. So, these are the dudes that like basically will guarantee whatever they're going to go deal with will guaranteed be unalived by the end of the day. Like, it will not exist anymore. They're like the opposite of insurance. It's like, goodbye. One of the Death Stalkers was so good at flying his helicopter that he'd been doing it for like 20 years that the soldiers told him to leave some of the guys behind so they have something to do when they landed. It's like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. These guys. Mind you, Deathstalkers are also the same guys that successfully stole, within 48 hours, flew from the U.S. over to Libya, stole a Russian Hind, and flew back.
Are you maybe the Night Stalkers?
Night Stalkers. Is it?
Okay. I was doing some quick Googling, and I've got Night Stalkers. They are soldiers recognized for their proficiency in nighttime operations.
That is Night Stalkers.
Army Spec Ops Aviation Forces.
Yep, Night Stalkers. Sorry, my bad.
Yep.
I fucked up their name. My bad. They also get to paint all their vehicles black. Sorry, Night Stalkers. Yeah,
they use the MH-60 Black Hawk helicopter, and then there's also the MH-6 Little Bird or Killer Egg helicopter, which is the one I think you're talking about.
Yep, the Killer Egg.
Yeah.
Or Death's Uber. Oh, God. But no, these guys successfully Grand Theft Auto'd a Russian Hind. And it's up in a museum right now, actually.
Cool.
Like, the actual Hind they stole. Not, like, a replica.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's like, wait, what the fuck? The crazy shit we do. But it's shit like this, like, I look up stuff like this sometimes, or I listen to it, and then I remember some of the things I experienced, and I try to also incorporate this into my D&D shit. Because imagine, like, because flying is a thing in D&D.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine what some of the crazy creatures you could do in D&D with this. Especially if you have a well-funded military in D&D.
Yeah.
Because I would think about it and go, if I had a country that had like a lot of money and had a lot of troops and was at war for a long time, they would probably come up with units like this. Especially if they had a lot of magic users. Or rangers. You know, training up griffins and shit. Because that's not terrifying.
Hey, I wanted to mention it is 9:20. Did you have an idea of when you wanted to run the stream to this evening?
Yeah, we should probably figure out where we're going. Because it is that time. And I do need to get some rest tonight. Because god dang it, I'm going to be busy as hell. Alright, let's see what we got. Who is on and what are they doing? Alright, let's see what we got. Let's see. Paleontizing's on. Pleasantly Twist is doing Monster Hunter Rise. Shimmery Crane is doing Sea of Thieves again. Puzzle Monkey's doing Stardew Valley. Artemis Harpy is doing Dragon Age Origins, which I'll be doing tomorrow. Sumto's doing the Elden Ring. God damn, so many people on my list are playing Fortnite or Apex today. God damn. A lot of Stardew Valley. Ilana Orma is doing RimWorld. Do that. Let's see. Someone's doing Lost Ark. Not a lot of crazy shit going on, so let me see where I can go. Let's see what Shimmery, how long she's going to be doing her thing. Is she wrapping up? She's doing it for a while. Looks like she's going to be going at it for a while. She's in the middle of a fight. Cool. So we'll do her. I haven't rated her in a while. Alright. So, please make sure that you are taking care of yourselves, both mentally and physically. If you are a follower, by all means, use the following message. If you're a subscriber, please use the following message. Join us tomorrow for Wildcard Wednesday, where Squiggly basically got us to play more Dragon Age, so we're going to continue Stabby McStabberson there, where she's in Ostagar now, instead of stabbing nobles, and we're going to try to survive. So, fun times there. Alright, so I will catch you all tomorrow, alright? Toodles.